friends, and welcome to a new video. So today we are going to talk about the books I read in May. We have 4 of them, and as I film this video, it's actually the 24th of May, not quite the end of May, and I might have finished the last one by the time May is finished, because I've been reading a lot, because I'm actually off studying. I have finished my 3 uni years and now I'm preparing for my master's degree. So that's really great. I actually got really good grades. Like, I am very happy with the grades I got. We are going to begin. So in the chronological order, the first book that I read, that I began reading. So actually I've been reading this book since December, and I am at page 453 with my little Sam Fender bookmark, and I don't actually have that many pages left, but I have not been able to finish this book, which is weird because I absolutely adored Fourth Wing, and Iron Flame is really difficult. Like, I don't know, I'm just stuck. I think that this book is just too big for me, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to ever finish it, which is sad because I love Fourth Wing so much. It's really weird, but I absolutely love like the universe, all the dragons and such. It's really good. But the characters, I really like the characters in the first book, but in this book, I'm just like, they annoy me so much. It's really hard. So yeah, I don't know if I'm actually gonna be able to finish this, but so I can't really talk about this one so much because I gave up reading this book in like the first 2 days of May. I was like, okay, I need to read something else. So the first book I picked up after Fourth Wing, after Iron Flame. My God, wow, this is hard. After Iron Flame is Sunrise on the Reaping. I actually bought it new, which I never do with books, except if they just came out, and this happens to just have come out. So I bought it new. I actually had a gift card from a friend, so it didn't cost me anything, which is great. But yeah, I read this in like a week, which for me is pretty unusual because I have read like 2 or 3 books in the span of 3 months, 4 months even. And in May, I suddenly started to read a lot, which is why I wanted to do a video, because in like January, February, and March, and even April, I read 2 books. So that's a little few. I wasn't gonna do a whole video on that. It would be dumb. But yeah, so Sunrise on the Reaping, I am going to tell you what I thought of this book. Can I just tell you that I loved it? And I think that's the general consensus about Sunrise on the Reaping. It's a really good book. And I absolutely adore Suzanne Collins' writing. She is so good at describing things. It's very special. And I think I only read the first Hunger Games book, except for this one, but it is only my second Suzanne Collins book I'm reading, and I love her style so much. She's a really great writer. I love this book. Read it in less than a week, which I hadn't done in a while. You do know the end, obviously, because you know that Haymitch is going to survive. But even though all throughout the book I was like, oh my God, is he going to survive? And then I had to be like, wait, yes, he's going to survive. I know that. But even though it didn't spoil all the fun at all, it was still a really great book. And like, the only thing I hated was the ending. If you have read it, you know. But I was also simultaneously quite expecting it, because it's not for nothing that Haymitch ends up being a alcoholic. So I had a hunch that his backstory was going to be very tragic, and it is very tragic. Yeah, Suzanne Collins' style is immaculate, I wrote. immaculate. And she describes feelings and landscapes in a way that I've never glimpsed in another author. So she has a very special style, and it's like you really feel like you're inside the character's head, and I find that very interesting. You really feel like, I don't know, like as if you were in the arena yourself, which is not easy to do. It's actually probably my favorite Hunger Games book, and even like my favorite Hunger Games like episode. As in, out of all the films and all the books, this is the one I've liked most. But I really love the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, because I find it really interesting how they show us what the games looked like before. But yeah, I'm not here to talk about Ballad of Songbird and Snake, but on Sunrise and the Reaping. And yeah, I love that it made allusions to so many of the other books. Like they talked about Finnick, I think, at some point. We meet Maggie, we meet Beatty, I think, something like that. Yeah, I think his name is Beatty. The guy who is really intelligent. Well, we meet a lot of characters that we see in the other films or the other books, and I think that's really interesting, especially Plutarch. That's really interesting that we see that he was already helping Hamish. Also Snow, and like they talk about Lucy Gray, and there's his girlfriend, Leonore Dove, who is also a Covey. I think that was a great book. I absolutely love this book. I do not regret buying it new. I will probably be selling it on my Vinted now, because I don't know if I'm gonna keep it, but it was a really good book, and it was great. I devoured that book in 7 days, and I loved it. The next book is by Richard Osman, and it's called The Thursday Murder Club. Okay, so what I wrote. Oh, by the way, Sunrise on the Reaping got a 9 out of 10 for me. Great book. Thursday Murder Club, I wrote, what an absolute masterpiece of a book. I enjoyed the plot and its mysteries just as much as the character. Ron for his hot-headedness, Joyce for being so unapologetically herself, Elizabeth's cleverness, Ibrahim's fitness obsession, Jason's kindness, etc. All the characters were really likable in their own ways, and I just loved every single one of them. I liked them all, and even when you discover who is actually the murderer, you're like, I don't mind it. I still like him. So, and yeah, so many times you think they've found the murderer, the culprit, the guy or girl who killed everyone. Well, 2 people actually, and it really keeps you like glued to the book until the end. And I think I read that also in like a week. And yeah, multiple times I had to go to sleep, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna read a chapter. And then because the chapters are so small, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna read another one, and another one, and it's endless. Like you just finish the book. So that was that it really like was captivating. It's also a very unique book because it happens amongst very old people. Like this takes place in basically a what is that called in English? Like they're all of the protagonists basically are retired, and they're in a set of apartment for old people, a retirement care home. I don't know how that's called in English. I'm French, by the way, just so you know. Um, but yeah, it made it very unique because like they have their own problems and you get a glimpse of what it's like to be old, and I think that's really interesting. I love discovering everyone's backstories, especially Matthew Mackey's. Like the plot twist where his story was insane. I'm not going to spoil anything, but his story was insane. Like the whole time I was like, oh my god, and then oh my god, and then oh my god. It was so good. It was so good. It was amazing. The ending was really genius. I wrote a big spoiler there, but the two people who killed the two people I was like, wow, okay. At the beginning, I was like, I'm sure it's Elizabeth. It's Elizabeth who killed everyone. No, it's not her, okay? It's not her at all. My gut's feeling is shit. Yeah. That was a great book. I absolutely loved it. Honestly, I don't know why I didn't put a 10 because it's almost perfect. Like, this was exactly what I needed to read after finals. A book that's fun, that's funny, that has a mystery in it. It was just a great book. And I put it a 9.5 out of 10. Yay! Such a great book. And then the last book is a Stephen King book. It is called The Outsider. And this is actually my very first Stephen King book I'm reading. I have never read ever in my life a Stephen King book. And I also haven't seen The Shining or any adaptation because I hate I hate horror movies. So this is the first glimpse of Stephen King that I have in my life ever, which I think is very special because he's a big author, right? He's a really big author. I'm at page 236, and I think I'm at like almost exactly half of the book. I have my little fruit bookmark that I made myself. So far, I began reading this right when I finished reading the Thursday Murder Club. So it's been a week, a bit less than a week, I think. And yeah, I mean, I did already read half of the book, so it is good. I don't have the review for this one, so I'm just going to put aside my bullet journal. It's really good. It's very weird. I'm not going to lie. It's very, very weird. Like, but the characters themselves are weirded out by the story, like, oh, there are Terry's fingerprints all over the murder, but he wasn't at the place of the murder, but also he was. Like, he seemed to have been at two places at the same time. And where I'm at, they're like, oh, it's a vampire, it's a boogeyman. And I'm like, what? And I don't know what to expect because I know that in The Shining there are like supernatural things, but I don't know if he's just gonna end up being like, oh, it was actually a vampire, and I'm gonna be like, okay, right, or if it's gonna stay in like the plausible, believable things. I don't really know what to expect from this book, honestly. So it's very interesting. I really love the characters. Like Ralph is very endearing, and you see that he's a really great cop who has made a big mistake by arresting Terry the way he did. And I love all of the stories, seeing the Peterson family's reaction to Frank's. Wait, the father is called Fred and the guy is called Frank, right? I never know which is which. Well, yeah, we see the reaction of the Peterson family for the murder of the Peterson boy, and I think that's really interesting to see like the aftermath of how a murder affects their lives. And we also see Terry's wife reaction, his daughter's reaction, and that's really, really interesting. But it's a big mystery. in the way that nothing makes any sense. They arrest Terry because they are 100% sure that it's him, because the fingerprints are all over the murder again. And oh my god, the murder is so fucked up. Like, when they did the description of it, you're like, what the actual fuck is happening here? Like, it's terrifying. I am a big fan of true crime. Like, I watch a French channel that does true crime stories literally every day to go to sleep. But this is by far the most horrifying, upsetting murder I have seen. And that means something. So I don't know if Stephen King is just especially good at imagining murders, or if he is himself a serial killer. I don't know. But yeah, this is a great book. I'm really into it. I do think that after that, I will give Iron Flame a last chance. And if I just can't read Iron Flame to the end, I will probably start another book. I don't really know which right now. I have 2 books remaining in my bookshelf that I haven't read. And then I'll have read the whole of it, I think. No, I'm sure, actually. So that's great. Maybe I need to buy some new books. But we'll see. We will see what I do when I've finished The Outsider, which might be soon, because I'm very into it. It's a really good book, and I don't really have much to say about Stephen King's style, because it hasn't struck me as especially weird or especially great. I mean, it's an interesting way of writing. It's very honest. Like, the characters, we know all of their thoughts and feelings and such. And it's described, very honestly. But apart from that, it could be a Stephen King book as well as it could not be one. I don't know if you know what I mean, but I don't think he has a very particular style, except like his stories being very weird. I don't know if that's just this book or if it's the rest of the books, but I think that with The Shining, it's also a really weird movie. So probably it's actually quite usual with his books. And yeah, so I'm also going to talk to you about the Daniel Pénac. So that's in French because I'm reading it with my mom. But we are reading, that's the Malocene series. And so we are on the 3rd book right now. And this is such a good series. Like, if it exists in English, I absolutely recommend it to you. And it also happens in Paris. So if you're interested in seeing like the insides of the city, it's really interesting. And like, the plot is insane. The main character has like the worst life in the world. It's insane. Like, everything bad happens to him all the time. Like, right now, his little sister is supposed to marry someone and he was just murdered in the worst way possible. So like, it's insane. This I didn't mention this before because I'm reading it with my mom, so it's a little different from actually reading, like, but I just thought I'd mention it quite quickly. But this is a great series and I absolutely love it. So yeah, this is all for me. So these are all the books I've read. So far. So the books I've finished and then The Outsider that I'm reading. But I noticed that I haven't picked really small books either, so they're quite big. So maybe next time I'm just gonna read like a small book. But we'll see. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see more book content from me. I really enjoy reading, especially lately. Oh my god, I am looking at this and I'm remembering that I have a Harry Potter in German that I have been reading since summer 2023. I really need to finish that also. Okay, I'm gonna leave you here. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself. I love you and bye. To sleep under, where the